and Madison Reedy joins us for business. How are you this evening?
I'm good. It's been a busy day, Alex.
You have been busy. You've been reporting on Vodafone and 5G, which we're going to get by Christmas, apparently.
Yes, you are.
It's going to
we
cost
live in
us,
Auckland, so we will, but not everyone will.
Oh, there you go.
You might have to pay quite a bit for it too.
And you've got to buy a new phone.
Probably too.
But they're not the only company making announcements today. The Warehouse going online.
Yes, it is. The Warehouse Group announced today as well. They were not the only company making announcements. Excuse me. The Warehouse has announced this new online shopping platform, and it's going to be called The Market. Now, the Warehouse obviously owns The Warehouse, as well as Warehouse Stationery, Noel Leeming, and also Torpedo 7, as well as the Daily Deal website. You may not have known, called oneday.co.nz. But The Market, this platform, will offer 1,500 new brands. And in total, it will sell 1 million products when it launches. It will include the local brands like Karen Walker, World, and the men's clothing brand Barker's. But it'll also include international brands like the Australian activewear brand P Nation, the Australian women's workwear brand Q, and also the beachwear brand Billabong, as well as others like Cotton On. Now, the Warehouse Group says that they're going to spend $12 million on this, and it is going to be operated as a separate subsidiary to the Warehouse. It'll have its own board and it's also its own head office in central Auckland. Although the Warehouse stores will be used as a click and collect station. So if you buy something on the market, you can go to your local warehouse and actually pick up your item that you've bought online. Now, some may say that this is possibly a bit too late for the Warehouse to be jumping on the e-commerce train, but the Warehouse doesn't think that. They say that actually New Zealanders only spend 9% of their total retail spend online at the moment, compared to, say, the Brits, who spend 18%, so double what we do online. So the Warehouse Group thinks that the e-commerce trend is only really just beginning, and that they're going to take a good slice of it. Right,
and then the market is kind of like a different market in a sense from what you get at the Warehouse stores, where you're likely just to sort of drive in, drop by, pick up a few goods. But here you're going online to shop for some of those better known brands.
Yeah, exactly. It won't necessarily be the cheaper brands. I mean, Karen Walker and World. I mean, gosh, I think a jacket at World can sometimes top $1,000. Is certainly out of my pay bracket. But yes, certainly not just the kind of more cheaper end items that are typically sold at your red shed at the moment.
Right. Okay, and the US Federal Reserve, we talked about them last night, they took the plunge.
They did take the plunge.
Didn't plunge, though.
Didn't plunge, put their toes in the water for the first time in a decade. So the United States Federal Reserve came out around 6 a.m. this morning and announced that they were cutting the United States economy's interest rates. They took a 25 basis point cut, so not the whopping 50 basis point cut that some economists reckon that they might have. Right. Now, that is quite interesting that they've done that, though, given that this is the first interest rate cut in a decade. The Federal Reserve in the United States has been hiking interest rates ever since the global financial crisis hit in 2008, so a pretty significant move here. Now, the chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, said that they cut interest rates this time around because of things like trade uncertainty with the US-China trade war at the moment, also muted inflation in the United States economy, slower job growth too, and business investment falling, but he wasn't so pessimistic in his outlook. He does think that the United States economy is on a pretty good footing, that it's in a, quote, favourable position, and he also says that the trade tensions have gone from what was a boil and they've reduced down to a simmer. So not all bad news there, despite the cut.
Right, okay, and update us on the markets. What happened today?
The NZX Top 50 Index closed up just 3 points tonight to close at 10,860 points. The New Zealand dollar, that's buying at 65.5 US cents, 95.7 to the Australian, and 54 British pence.
Wonderful. Thanks very much. Madison Reedy there with the latest in the business world.